in a church and I look at what the text is, and I might be able to sing certain verses of a hymn, but I can't sing others because I'm Jewish, and I just don't. I think it's I'm not comfortable singing something of a religious nature that doesn't fit for me. Now, if I was in a choir, and I have been in choirs, where when I was in university, and that would be a different matter. But at this point, when I'm doing it, and when I was doing it as one of the few Jewish kids in the school, it was saying something different than I felt I could do at that time.
Yeah, it's like when my guys come on Christmas Eve. I know Alan's like, oh, I hope they sing. I hope they sing my favorite Christmas carol, the one that I like to hear being sung, but he doesn't sing along.
What is his favorite? Just out of curiosity.
Angels We Have Heard on High. He likes the glory. You know, Franklin didn't sing along. Now I don't know what he's going to do this year. He may just figure this as one more chance to practice being able to pick out the bass part. But it's practicing his harmony singing and stuff like that. But it's one of those.
It is interesting.
I sang at Temple too.
Yes.
So, and even got to be Queen Esther in the Purim play. I kept saying, "You sure you don't have somebody who's Jewish for this?" But there I was. So.
Did you take the training
to sing?
Well, I'm thinking more of for membership as part of the temple.
No.
We don't have a training for membership in our congregation.
Okay.
And membership is by family unit.
I see.
So if there's one Jewish adult in the family, then the family joins as a unit.
I think that in and of itself speaks of the kind of world we're thinking of more. That it isn't a set of things that you need to know, that you learn, that you belong or you don't belong, but rather a whole body, a whole picture, a whole family unit that can be varied and much more diverse and interesting. So, are there any things in the tradition that you had to learn more about that were difficult or jarring for you or challenging? And also that question, I guess, would be, was that true also for Alan?
Well, I think if you are, growing up in America, you sort of know the basic why Christians are celebrating Christmas.
Some people don't. Actually.
Well, you sort of know why.
Yeah.
Okay. For better or worse, as you know, the Methodists do not have great and elaborate rituals for many things.
This is true.
So we're a pretty stripped down group of practitioners. So therefore, it's not like he had to say, well, when do I use the kneeler? There's certainly not as much up. There's certainly not as much up and down as there is in the average Jewish service, that type of thing. So I don't think there were a lot of things that threw him. A couple times there's been something where everybody went to church because we're all going to go to brunch and then we're all going to do something afterwards, and I forgot, and it was communion. And so, but at the beginning of the service, it's always pointed out that those who want to participate can participate, and those who don't want to participate don't have to participate. So I don't think it's ever made an awkward situation for him there. As far as I had to sort of bone up a little bit on the Hanukkah story, just because as I said, I ended up being the one who had to did that and brought the gelt or the donuts and threatened to give gefilte fish every year to the kids, and I would and I think I may have done Passover dog and pony type of thing for the kids, but I was always the one that came in as a cultural liaison to explain the Jewish holidays.
Well, there's nothing like being the teacher who essentially has to learn the story in order to teach it. That's great.
I think for me, I had to do a lot more. I had a learning curve a lot more for me for the high holidays and for Passover, because that's one of the we've always had to sort of balance the dietary things, but we go strictly kosher for the 8 days of Passover.
Okay.
So I had to get used to like cleaning out the kitchen and all that type of stuff. But
I'm aware, in speaking to different people over the course of the years, of some women who were not Jewish. I don't know if all of them went to church or not, but who were very proud of the work they did to honor their commitment to raise Jewish children, and very proud of the way they were able to raise Jewish children. And so there's a whole way that you learn about something if it's something you've committed to teach your children.
Absolutely.
Whether or not it is your faith tradition or your belief. And so, I think matters of faith are very personal, and I would never ask someone to change their religion or faith. I think that's a decision that people make inside of themselves.
Sure.
And yet, if you commit to raise your children a certain way and you want to do it with integrity, there are certain things you have to learn along the way. And so it's been an interesting conversation I've had with people regarding that, and learning the different foods that they want to do for different holidays, and being able, as you said, you have things in your home for all the different holidays, so that you have those things as well. But you're also a very knowledgeable congregant in both congregations that you go to.
Well, you mentioned the food part. So much of tradition, or at least the American Jewish tradition, is wrapped around certain food items for certain holidays. So of course, you have to learn how. I now have my own, world famous brisket recipe type of thing, and it's one of those things where because the food is always going to be tied up in the family celebration, and therefore you want to have these things that are the traditions for the family celebrations, to have this particular item or that particular. And we have certain things that we always have for Christmas dinner, and we have it over at my mother's house.
So you share families as well as faith traditions too.
Yeah.
That's another piece of it.
And it's also it's interesting in our family too, because I come from a really small family, and Alan comes from one of these extended hundreds of cousins type of family type of thing. So.
Well, and I think it is important to remember we're not nuclear families alone. We do have extended families.
Right.
And so whatever decisions that a nuclear family makes, you have to work with the rest of the family too, to let them know, what things you want from them. So if you're exposing your children to both, then the grandparents and aunts and uncles know they can get those religious items or cultural items for the children in that family or that household, and it's fine. But if you've made a commitment to do something exclusively one way or the other, then I think it's a different kind of thing. So I think it's important to be careful about mixed messages.
Yeah, I would
with
imagine.
extended family as well. And holidays, of course, from Thanksgiving, I think through New Year's particularly, is a time of family coming together who we aren't always together with.
Right.
And it can just be stressful for all the different people coming into a small area and in a home, or just all of the different worlds in which we are part of. And so I think we have to be extra careful to be, again, respectful of one another, and enjoy each other's celebrations, and yet not impose things upon others if we don't know where they are on things as well.
Well, I know with us, with the holiday gift giving, it was one of those things where obviously, what is he going to get from his Jewish grandparents? He's going to get a Hanukkah gift. He's going to get Hanukkah gifts. What is he going to get from his Christian grandparents? What my parents did is he would get a Hanukkah gift from them that he would receive on the day that they came to our house for the brisket and the latkes and the whole 9 yards. But there would still be Christmas presents for him, because for them that giving a Christmas present as well was a joy on their part.
Right.
And so my parents and now my mom tend to buy presents for both holidays, whereas that did not from the other side of the family. And as he got older, I said, okay, well then I'll give him, he got the toys for, we would give him the toys for Hanukkah and the clothes for Christmas. Made the Hanukkah gifts so much nicer. You did mention, I just thought of one thing that was it's the weird little things, like when he was when he was tiny, when he was a baby. We went through. He was a sickly kid. We were very happy to have him. I wanted a baby's first Christmas tree ornament. And that would have been for me, because
Yeah.
baby wasn't having a Christmas. Somebody actually had even given him a little soft rattle that was shaped like a little kid wearing a yarmulke. He got it as a baby gift, and we pulled it out and gave it to him. But I wanted a baby's first Christmas ornament for the tree, because the tree is my tree.
Yeah, I hear that.
But I couldn't bring myself to buy one, and a friend of mine gave me one. And it's like he had no idea that
Right.
how much I wanted one, but it was like, and in retrospect, it was probably not a particularly bright idea on his part, because we had already said we were raising Franklin Jewish, but he just thought I ought to have one for my tree, because and it's my tree.
And isn't it true, though, that sometimes those little things do show just how embedded our expectations are?
Yeah, and that when you have a kid, you're going to have, you're going to do
Right.
that. And as I said, it is very much my tree. I get help putting the thing up, but I decorate it, and the ornaments are all, they look like little toys. They're not. It's not a fancy, coordinated. Everything is in red plaid with white ribbons type of thing. They're things collected over vacations, and they all have a
meaningful to you as a family.
Right, and indeed we'll buy some of them together. It's like, oh look, there is the lobster we got from Algonquin, because we go to Maine every year, and it's the only lobster that's ever been in our house is the little wooden lobster on the Christmas tree. But that's what an Algonquin Christmas tree ornament souvenir looks like.
Right. Our talking a little bit about family traditions and expectations and extended families has me thinking a little bit about how I think you really kind of touched on it, Rabbi Barbara, by talking about how people need to be conscious of where other people are coming from, and that can make all the difference in relieving tensions or stresses in bringing these different traditions together.
And I think the December dilemmas are not only for families that have more than one faith tradition within them, but it's for all of us in the culture, because we are inundated with so many messages of the holidays. And so I think we all are challenged to look at how to make the holidays real and the meaning of them for everyone.
Absolutely.
So Temple Concord set up Hanukkah House, a seasonal museum, several years ago that would afford people the opportunity to come and visit. And it is open from November 22nd to December 27th on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So you can contact the congregation for more information, and anyone and everyone is welcome to come visit.
Well, I think one of the things our conversations have really spoken loud and clear to me is we can't learn too much about each other. And we can't really go into our traditions too deeply in order to really see them celebrate in a meaningful way these holidays that come about during this time of year. So many thanks for your participation in these conversations.